the end of this omnibus here. We have two series I want to talk about. The first is actually, believe it or not, a 12 issue series called Aliens Space Marine, and I'll talk about this first. Alien Space Marine is a series of comics that came with Kenner Aliens action figures. Yes, this was a thing right around the time Alien 3 came out. They started doing Aliens toy lines. Not Alien 3, although Alien 3 got its fair share of video games from LJN. Uh, Aliens got two toy lines. The first was from Galoob, which is an amalgamation of mostly alien stuff. Galoob was Micro Machines. So we got one playset that was Alien. We got three little figure packs, which were a mix of from all three films, and then the two Action Fleet ships were from Aliens. So it was a nice mix of the three. And when I say they did Alien 3, they just did the dog alien from the dog xenomorph from Alien 3. That was the only thing they did. And they did do another. I forgot. They did do another action fleet that was from Alien, which was the Escape Shuttle, and it came with Ripley and a xenomorph. So, yeah, it was interesting. And then Kenner did a series of action figures, which, if you want some good reviews of those, or fun reviews for that matter, General Watts did some many years ago. But he didn't really talk about the comics. He did talk about that this was like supposed to be a cartoon. They were going to do an animated series. It wouldn't have been the first time they did an animated series based off of an R-rated property. So, what is Space Marines about? Well, it's about Apone, Hicks, Bishop, Ripley, and Drake going around hunting xenomorphs on different planets. You heard that right. Apone and Drake are in this. And something to note, these action figures are the most early 90s action figures that have ever action figured. And the characters in these comics look like the action figures. And they don't act like their movie counterparts. This, from the get go, was a separate universe from the Aliens comics. In fact, if you read this omnibus, they make it clear from issue 1 that these are not connected. With that being said, I love these comics. They aren't great, but this Aliens universe had gotten so bleak by this point, I didn't want to read anything after this. So reading Space Marines was a nice breath of fresh air. This had never been collected prior to this, and at this point in time, I think the next Epic collection will probably collect this series, but this is the only thing that recollects these issues. Now, there is a 13th issue. I am not talking about it. It's not included in this. It's an AVP comic. I do not own this AVP comic. It is hard to get in a readable condition. And you pay a lot more money than these are worth. Because these comics, when I say they're comics, they're like a couple pages long. They're not very long at all. Yeah, that came in a AVP 2 figure pack. And I don't know if it connects or not, because there's not really a lot of panels of it online. I've seen a couple, but not enough to piece the story together. So maybe at some point, if Marvel's listening, please do an AVP omnibus and put that in there. I would love to read that, because if you put the other 12 issues in, why not put the 13th one in your AVP? I get not putting it in here, because this is Aliens only. So, anyway, what would I rank Space Marines? I give it a 4 out of 5. It's very fun. It's a breath of fresh air if you're going through this omnibus. Especially after Tribes and Alien 3 and Newt's Tale comics that I don't think are very good. Well, Tribes is basically a novella with Dave Dorman art that isn't very good. So, anyway, let's talk about the other thing, the final comic in this. It's the Alien 3 trading card comics. What? Yes, Dark Horse from time to time will branch out, or did. I don't think they do it anymore. And I don't blame them for not doing it anymore. They would put comics on things that weren't comic books. So, Alien 3, for instance, it had trading cards, because of course it did, because Alien 3 had a bunch of really bizarre merchandise that is beyond me. Um, so, Alien 3 got trading card comics. Not the weirdest Dark Horse comics I've ever come across. That would have to be back in the 90s, the late 90s, for Phantom Menace. We had Tales of the Pod Racers, and they were comics that were supposed to be packaged in like fruit roll-ups, like so, or some sort of fruit snack, and you ate the snack and you got a little comic. They would later be um, published in Wild Space Omnibus Volume 2, because everything that was left over from Dark Horse kind of got put in that. Um, yeah, the Wild Space omnibuses are weird. I think that that's been collected in the Menace Revealed omnibuses, but don't quote me on that. That might be some lost stuff. But anyway, let's talk about the Alien 3 trading card comic. It's called Alone. It's about a guy who finds a face hugger and like another guy that finds the dead body and he gets eaten by a xenomorph. If you look at the omnibus, it's one page of 9 trading cards. It was 9 trading cards long. Each trading card had one panel. Kind of a gimmicky thing. It's not really anything. And quite frankly, it's not worth your time to read, to track down. If you have it in this omnibus, because like I said, this is the only time this has been collected also, then it won't kill you to read it. It took me a whopping 5 minutes to read all of it. And I was very underwhelmed. Um, what would I give it? A 1 out of 5. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. From like a trading card collection that I've never heard anyone collect Alien 3 trading cards. I didn't even know Alien 3 had trading cards until I read this. I didn't know that till last week that Alien 3 had trading cards. But I think we're done with the Alien 3 leftovers now. I don't think the next omnibus has any. Ugh.